guess we can just go with the flow, even though I made it known that it'll never be serious between us. It'll probably only be this one sexual thing, but she seems okay with that. So how do you go about that? I mean, it's a win for me. It's a loss for her.
Well, why is it a loss? My question is, why is it a loss though for her?
Because outside of sex, she won't get anything else. Like she won't get the commitment from me.
Okay, so I don't believe that okay, so there's intimacy and non-intimacy, right? So intimacy, you are fulfilling that with her.
Mhm.
Non-intimately, you know that sex is, excuse me, non-intimately, commitment is not the only thing that non-intimacy is defined as. Like you on a non-intimate level, bro, you can have women help you with your brand, help you with your vision, help you with this like podcast, for example. There's so many things that women can do for you. Like a woman could cook for you, a woman can clean for you, a woman can do, and then you already know this stuff too. Women can do a lot more things. Like I think I think what's important here is that if a woman has consciously decided, and you've been transparent about it, right? You've been honest, you've been transparent. The next step is like, okay, if she knows that I'm not going to commit to her long term, what kind of roles and responsibilities can I give her so she feels fulfilled and I feel fulfilled on her presence, right? So she wants to, obviously there's something about you, Prince, that she wants to keep gravitating towards you. Since that's the case, what list of responsibilities and again roles can you give her so she feels like, hey, even though I'm not having any commitment with Prince, I still feel valued. I still feel like I'm helping him. And I'm not only just sexually pleasing him, but I'm also doing other things that allows me to be closer with him and allows me to have more time spent with him. So the one thing you want to avoid is you in this circumstance, because again, you don't want to be committed to her. You just don't want to do things that are boyfriend girlfriend vibes out of it too. Is there anything wrong with taking her out to dinner for, let's say, like her like helping you with the podcast? Like she wrote some ideas down and said, okay, you and Glass should like do this, you should do that, blah blah blah. Like let's just say you're like, hey, I want you to brainstorm the next like 5 topics that Glass and I should talk about. I don't have time to do it. I got to go to the gym. I got to go do this. Whatever the fuck is going on, right? So you come back and you see her write down like 5 new ideas, and she breaks it down for you like a business presentation, right? And you're just like, damn, okay, I see you. And then you're like, you know what? Let's go grab some dinner after this. I don't think there's anything wrong with doing something like that to reward her for putting in effort, right? And she again knows in the background that you are not going to commit to her. So if she starts to say some shit like, are we going to spend Valentine's Day together, or like, can you come visit me at my parents' house or something? That's when you got to like throw the boundary and say, hey, look, that's going towards a commitment factor, and I don't want to get your feelings mixed up. You know where I stand on this. So sometimes you got to remind these chicks and let them know, like, hey, I already said what I said. You're a great girl. You've been helping me in all these different aspects, and we're very fun to be together when we're intimate. But I got to draw the line at me visiting your parents' place, because that's going towards a boyfriend, and your parents are going to think I'm your boyfriend, and that's not objectively what's happening between you and I right now.
So
For
that's sort of another unique question. What do you do when the girl doesn't live in your city or state, but you still want to keep her on the roster?
Well, good. Very good question, guys. I think when you say keep her on the roster, like you want her to be continually to be intimate with you and still reach out to you. Is that what you mean by that for a girl that's like out of
Um,
town?
yeah, like I actually want to do a lot. I obviously I want if I'm ever in her city, I want to be able to finagle there. I want her to
you want
still
a clip? Yeah.
yeah, definitely. I still want her to be an asset to my life as well.
I'm trying
Sometimes
to
when they're
fuck.
not in their city, some women find it pointless, which I can understand. There's only it seems as though when you're doing the out of city thing, it's only a matter of time before she sticks a fork in it.
Yeah.
You know, I believe what keeps it maintained is every time you meet up with these chicks, like in your town, in your city, right? If these chicks come in, you show them such an amazing time, whatever you guys are doing together, they won't want this to fizzle out between you guys, right? Like
Mm,
Mm.
for example, I was in Columbia about a few weeks ago, and one of the girls that I met, she was very, very, very keen about who I am. And she and I are still reaching out to each other on WhatsApp. And I told her that I'm probably going to go back to Colombia in 2023 as well, because the time of this recording is December of 2022. So I'm probably going to go back like in May of 2023, and I might even go a little bit sooner as well to just visit and have fun, and like maybe take her and go travel different parts of Colombia as well. So
Facts.
yeah, like she has gone above and beyond. The last night I was in Medellin before I went back to the United States, that last night, guys, like this girl showed me she's team Grand Camp, like to the max. And I was like, holy crap, this girl really likes me. Well, here's the funny part. So the first night, the first night that I met her, we were at we rented a mansion in Guadalupe, which is in about an hour and a half away from Medellin. And it's a man-made lake that's ginormous. And there's green like hills surrounding it. It's absolutely beautiful. What we stayed at was this mansion. In Colombian, a mansion's a finca, so Finca. So a finca was this big ass house that we had, and it was like me and like 5 other guys that we rented it out, and we had through our social circle connections, we invited a bunch of chicks to hang out with us. And one of the girls that was invited was that chick, the one that was very keen. We ended up hooking up that night. We went completely all the way and everything, had a really good time. And then she actually had to leave the Airbnb the next day to go to work. So I didn't see her for a good like 5, 6 days. But I kept in touch with her on Instagram. I told her, hey, I still want to see you again. Now, fast forward, and I set up the date with her. She didn't flake. She showed up on time and everything. So I saw her on, I think it was Monday, was my last day in Medellin. So on Monday, I saw her. And bro, this girl and I, we had drinks and an appetizer. We went back to my hotel. We got intimate. She comes up to me and she says, hey, Cameron, why are you dropping me off at 8 o'clock at night? She's like, you got something going on after this? And I'm like, I actually do. I got another date lined up. And she said, oh, really? Like with what, who is it? I'm like, you don't know the girl. She wasn't at that house party that you came to where you met me. Yeah. Yeah. So I just told her straight up. I'm like, yeah, I got another date lined up. And I chuckled about it too, because I'm like, this is so fucking funny that I'm having this scenario right now. And she was like, and she was cool about it. She's like, oh, okay, is it one of the girls I know? I said, no, you don't know her. I met her before I came to the house party and stuff. And she said, okay. So we had one more drink, and then I dropped her off. Like I said, all right, like adios, like she's going that direction, I'm going that direction. And I proceeded to have a date with this girl, a new girl. We had dinner together. It was really fun, whatever. It didn't really go anywhere. And I was like, all right, fuck this shit. So I dropped that girl. Then I texted the same chick. So I literally got my iPhone, right? I get my iPhone. I text the same chick again. And I said, the previous one. And I said, look, my date is done. The night is young. You want to come meet up with me again? She says, yep. Give me about like 30 minutes. I'll come over. I said, perfect. So she met up with me in the same district that I dropped her off. She came over. She dressed in a different outfit. I was like, God fucking damn. Like she looks super sexy both fucking times. It was perfect. So she ended up coming with me to this like nightclub / bar. And guys, Colombia is dirt cheap. So I was like there getting like drinks for myself and her. Like everything was like under like $5 for like beer was like $3 or $5, nothing. Really cheap. So we're all just like drinking, having a good time. And then I see a bunch of like group of people that are all like, they're like Mexican American actually. So it was a bunch of like group of people that were from like Texas and like whatever, East Coast. We're all hanging out with each other. We're drinking. And I'm like, yo guys, let's all like take some shots together. So I go and I find out that a bottle of Don Julio is cheaper than me buying 7 shots, which was like $100. I'm like, fuck it. I bought $100 bottle. Yeah, it's about $100 bottle. And me and this chick were having an amazing time. We stayed up, bro, till fucking 6:30 in the morning, partying our asses off. She came back to my hotel. She slept with me. We got intimate like multiple times throughout that morning. And then we had lunch together. And then I kissed her goodbye and I went back to the airport. And since then, bro, this girl has like been in touch with me. Like, she said, hey, if you want, I told her I still want to keep in touch with you. Let's do a video chat soon. She's like, yeah, just let me know. And every time I tell her like, let's do this, she's like, just let me know the date, the time. I'm like, all right, this girl's super down. So it's been fairly easy, like dealing with like women about like, that are really in alignment with who you are. Because like she saw me, there's something about me that she notices, like, wow, this guy's so honest, he's so transparent, he doesn't give a fuck. And that's what makes him so attractive to me, or whatever other triggers that really got her to be turned on by who I am.
So it seems as though just when dealing with women outside of your city, just when you do interact with them, I'm assuming whether that be by call or, when you see them in person, just make sure that it's a good time for them. Make sure that they're well taken care of.
Absolutely, absolutely. You got to make sure that you got to leave a lasting impression in this world with everybody, in my opinion. It's not just like, okay, I'm in Colombia, I'm going to party my ass off. It's more like if I'm at a networking event, if I'm at the gas station, I meet this chick and we have a good conversation for 2 to 3 minutes and it makes her think about me. I mean, like I've been before where I met a girl uh, on a plane. We were going from Texas back to California, and then she happened to live, I think, like in the East Coast. And this girl we started making out on the plane. She was sitting in the middle seat, and I'm sitting on the left side because I like the aisle seat. I hate being in like the window in the middle. So I'm sitting aisle, and this chick was literally right next to me. We just started making out with each other, and because I created a lasting impression, we stayed in touch for a little bit. It did fizzle out, but the point is that whole experience for her is something that she's always going to remember. So I tell my students and I tell everybody that I give my lectures and speeches to, that you guys got to create like a lasting impression with people in this world, and people need to remember like who you are, what you stand for. And so you're not just a number, you're not just a pawn, you're not just like some mediocre fucking dude who is like boring as shit. You got to be like somebody who's really, really impressionable and not impressionable. Sorry, someone who is very interesting, someone who's very convicted in who he is as a man, and that's what gets people to always remember who you are.
Mm.